Oh, goody, 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 goody. The skid marks have struck again. Not losing games. I mean, they're the Cleveland Browns, so of course they still lose plenty of games. They just happen to have won a couple this year. Felt kind of good and wholesome in a way, and also really strange and weird. But they still lose a lot. And apparently, after 8 games, enough was enough. Hugh Jackson is chirping about play calling. He's chirping about Todd Haley. Todd Haley's probably chirping about Hugh Jackson. So John Dorsey, the general manager, decided to send both of them packing. Todd Haley, fired. Hugh Jackson, fired. And I don't know that that really surprises anybody. And look, we're talking about the Cleveland Browns here. Until proven otherwise, they still deserve very little to absolutely none of your benefit of the doubt. None. The hell have they done to earn it? What the hell have they done to deserve it? And even if you want to talk about John Dorsey and the team that he built in Kansas City, if you really understand things, you really understand that it was ultimately Andy Reid that was the primary shot caller there. Let's not get it flipped. Let's not get it twisted here. Now, John Dorsey comes into a situation that, on the one hand, is ideal. There's literally nowhere to go but up. One win in 2018 is an improvement, and they've doubled that output already with 2 whole wins. So you look good by default, and you get a lot of time. You had all these picks. You had all this cap space. You got the number 1 overall pick, so you can take a quarterback. Far from a bad situation for a general manager trying to get a second chance to go to. And here's what I don't understand about this whole thing. You take a quarterback number 1, which you needed to do, what you had to do. Whether Mayfield was the right guy or not will be decided in the long term. Whether it should have been Darnold or not at that spot, or somebody else at that spot, remains to be determined. But the one thing I think all of us, for the most part, comfortably understood was that John Dorsey did not hire Hugh Jackson. And it was ridiculous. I don't care what type of story you're hearing about. Hugh Jackson was hired by Jimmy Haslam, and they told him that the team wasn't going to rebuild. And then they immediately underwent an analytically driven rebuild that was terrible. So they wanted to give him a sympathy third year for the F all of it. No. John Dorsey knew he was going to take a young quarterback number 1 overall. He knew in no uncertain terms that he'd coach long term. So why the hell would you ever allow Hugh Jackson to touch your young quarterback to begin with?
I'm sorry, if you're a general manager, the 2 most important decisions you could make are head coach and quarterback. And depending on your perspective, it's 1A and 1B. So you're going to allow somebody else's failed hire to touch your rookie quarterback? And you look at the way Hugh Jackson handled the whole quarterback situation to start off the season in Cleveland. Of course he started Tyrod Taylor. Of course he stuck with Tyrod Taylor initially. Why? Because where I used to kind of defend Hugh Jackson a little bit and thought he got a little bit of a raw deal in Oakland and deserved a second chance, was actually a good fit for Cleveland, mea culpa here, I was fucking wrong. He was just wrong. There is no way on God's green earth you could sit there and compare Tyrod Taylor and look at Baker Mayfield and truly think that Tyrod Taylor was your best bet, your best option to win games. And when you've got a head coach like Hugh Jackson, who so stubbornly clings to this concept that he's not even trying to give the kid, the number 1 overall pick, a realistic shot to win the starting quarterback job, that's when you instantly should know that the coach needs to go, not later, not now, yesterday. But of course, the Browns being the Browns, let Hugh Jackson and Todd Haley work with Baker Mayfield for half a season, just to ultimately fire his ass, so that way you create upheaval and you create turmoil around your young quarterback who means everything to your fucking future halfway through his damn rookie year. Like, this feels like one of these things that Hugh Jackson, Todd Haley, one of them stays, one of them goes. Whoever stays is in charge of the offense.
Whoever goes is gone and gets a bunch of money to do nothing. But of course, how fitting, leave it to Hugh Jackson on the way out to tie with Todd Haley, and they both get fucking sent packing. So that way the Browns can promote fucking Greg Williams. Yeah, Bountygate Greg Williams. That dude, I know he's done good work with the Browns defense, but is that really the dude you want being the face of your organization as a head football coach? The fuck are you doing even letting Hugh Jackson go into the season as your coach? I don't give a damn what Jimmy Haslam says. That should have been the number one thing on the agenda when talking about the job. I will take this job, but if I do not want Hugh Jackson, I will fire him. It is that way or no for me. There can be no other way. So clearly did not make this case. He did not set that as a condition. But yet halfway through the year, now all of a sudden Jimmy Haslam magically is going to be okay with firing Hugh Jackson and Todd Haley. It just seems ridiculous. And again, the most important things you can have for a young quarterback is stability. And that's why so often factors, one of the so many young Cleveland quarterbacks in the past, since his organization came back to being in 1999, weren't successful and ultimately failed miserably in the league, is because, among other things, they didn't have stability. Every year, the damn organization is making a freaking change. And at least if you were going to do it, then why wait 8 freaking weeks? When you know that it could be the single reason your team didn't start off the damn season 4-0. I saw Baker Mayfield Thursday night do what he did against the Jets in the second half. Jackson should have immediately been sent packing. At that point in time, you can his judgment and his football intellect. You might as well have let him ride out the string at this point. Your team's not anywhere. At least Baker would have had some consideration throughout the entirety of his rookie season. And maybe Baker had that Haley and Hugh Jackson are gone. Perhaps. But another Browns thing to do. Have come out and say the head coach is staying for 2018. And then halfway through the season, you let that head coach potentially ruin a 4-0 start, starting the wrong fucking guy at quarterback. Wrong decision. Now, when the season are lost, fire the fucking guy to replace him with Bountygate dude. Skid marks gonna skid marks, and the Browns, at least for the moment, are the skid marks. Once again. Oh yes, Hugh deserved to be fired. And I have no problem with them firing him mid-season. Because this Browns team is better than 2-5-1, and that sounds funny to say. But you can really point to coaching staff, and in particular the head coach, as a reason why this team are victories. When you can clearly quantify and have tangible proof of that, the head coach needs to go. Hugh Jackson needed to go. He needed to go after what season? What, the 1-31 in the first 2 fucking years? Tell you enough about it? Don't give me that rebuilding bullshit. Coach worth a crap at this point. We could have gotten 2 or 3 wins out of that damn team. He got last year and won the year fucking before. And because he's an idiot and he started Tyrod Taylor's sorry ass to start in, they went 0-1 the first 2. 0-1 the first 2 weeks when they should have damn been 2-0. 2-0. Could have started off the season 4-0. The Browns reap what they sow a bunch of bullshit, ultimately reap.